Welcome to Leveling Up the Podcast with Alethia Tucker. I'm so happy that you're listening today. My goal is to bring something new, something promising. I plan to bring conversation, resources, and wisdom around the things that are holding us back from going for our best. We'll talk about everyday life and careers. I'll bring us dialogue designed to dig deep and identify our passions. We'll talk about the limits that you need to let go of and the promise that you need to grab a hold of. I'll interview women who bring valuable insight to the table. We'll have opportunities for Q&A, and we'll talk resources to help along the way. There are levels to this, and we'll hit them all, starting at the ground floor. We all have dreams, and now is our time to level up.
Ground floor.
Today we are honored to feature Dr. Jeanette Linder, an oncologist and functional and integrative medicine physician who helps women restore their relationship with their bodies. With more than 30 years in medical practice, Dr. Linder is board certified in radiation oncology and trained through the Institute for Functional Medicine. But it's her own health journey that became the catalyst for her mission. After years of overwork, exhaustion, and poor nutrition, she realized healing required listening to her body and making lasting lifestyle changes. Today, she empowers women to live with more energy, clarity, and joy by removing the shame often connected to health and wellness. Her approach focuses on realistic goals, grace when setbacks happen, and the confidence to keep moving forward. I'm Dr. Alethia Tucker, and this is Journey Shares. Now let's share the journey. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm so excited about recording. You know we're talking about Journey Shares. And your journey has been a unique one, and I love that you are absolutely like the epitome of doing what it is that you really feel brings purpose into your life. And so, what is it you want to tell the woman out there who may be looking to take a pivot and do something a little differently? What do you want to tell them?
You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not your fault when it takes multiple tries, and we're taught to ignore our bodies, so learning to listen takes work. So just be prepared to try and try again and learn your lesson and try again.
I love it. All right, let's go on up and talk some more.
All right.
Main level.
Dr. Jeanette, thank you so much for being with us today.
Happy to be here.
I'm really happy that we get to talk to you and get to share what I think is a unique pivot that you've done in your life. And it is so apropos for sharing what it is that we're doing with Journey Shares and for the audience that I generally speak with, who are women, in the middle years and up, who may be afraid to take that pivot, who've kind of been stuck where they are. So I think you're going to help a lot of people today. And so, again, thank you so much for being here. I know your story, and I know that you've spent so much of your life, and you've said this yourself, you've spent so much of your life kind of helping others heal. And there came a point where you realized that you needed healing too. And I just want you to kind of take us back to that season.
So sometimes you get a whole bunch of opportunities to get it right, and I had a whole bunch of opportunities to get it wrong. So I was in the whole competitive suffering game. That's a big part of medicine. You just work. I can overwork and undersleep you, and I can take on 5 administrative roles in a full clinic and all those things. And I thought that was a good thing. I was getting a lot of work done, but I was neglecting my family, my friends, my body. And it finally got to the point where 13 people in my personal life died in a year, some of them from COVID, heart disease, cancer, suicide. It was unbelievable. And that was 1 year. And I realized I needed to take the advice that I'd been giving my patients and their friends and family for my whole career, which is, anybody can do the basic everyday jobs, but only you can be the sister, the mother, the daughter, the best friend, the cousin. And when you lose that many people in a year, a lot of people need your attention, and you also need time to grieve. And I didn't do that for myself and for others the way I wanted to show up. And my body was screaming at me, just screaming at me. And I realized there are a lot of radiation oncologists out there. Somebody else can have this job and have the joy of doing what I do. I need to take a break. And I thought I was done with medicine, honestly.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful, because, and you're right, and just as women, not to mention the career that you have and that you were doing, what you were doing at that point, we as women are the nurturers. We're the make it happen people, no matter what. And to add that on top of the demands of a medical career. And I can see how it's so easy to just back burner yourself. And we talk about that all the time. And it's when our bodies really start to shut down, not just scream, but shut down, that, some of us are forced into, because we don't have any other choice, we're forced into making the pivot. And I'm glad to hear that you realized, okay, it's screaming at me right now. Before I'm totally down and out, I'm going to go ahead and kind of switch things around. And you spoke to it already. You said that you were successful, you were accomplished, you were doing things that make you're doing work that was so important in oncology. So what was happening internally that people really could not see? And I think you've already spoken to that. How were you feeling? Did you feel at that point that you were really doing what was your heart purposed work?
So I've always loved taking care of patients and, helping them through crisis. And I consider my radiation oncology like crisis intervention, not just for the patients, but for their friends and their family and for the staff as well. And I love that. But my usual coping skills weren't working anymore. I could go for a run and my heart rate wouldn't rise sometimes because I was so overtrained. Or I would go for my daily 3 o'clock trip to the gift shop for 1 to 3 candy bars, a 24-ounce soda, and a cup of coffee if I was pulling an all-nighter. And it worked for years and years and years to rev me up. And then, of course, after work is when I'd hit the crash, and people didn't see the puddle of mess that was left after all that junk food. But even that stopped working. And I realized my body's just completely spent. And that left nothing for my family and friends, and I was just exhausted, and I started clenching my jaw and my hands, and I'm like, this is not healthy. I've got to change something. And what was happening on the inside that nobody could see was my cholesterol was flying up, and I know my blood pressure was getting high when I was stressed out, and my body fat went up, and my muscles went down, and they're like big consequences of not listening to yourself. And my sleep was terrible, which affects everything. So, I didn't want to just start taking a bunch of pills. There are times when pills are necessary. I prescribe them. I think they're important.
Yeah.
But the foundation is your lifestyle and listening to your body. So I take some pills, the ones that I need, but most of them I don't need because I take care of myself.
Exactly.
Now I do.
Yeah.
And there will be a time when I need new pills, but there's so much that I can prevent and ease by taking care of myself, and I finally learned how to do that.
Wow. And that resonates so with me. My body, too, was shutting down. And honestly, there's still some things that I need to change to even get more in doing that heart work, doing more of that heart work. But I realized I had to make some changes so that I would be here period at the end, I mean, I was dealing with diabetes, cholesterol, arthritis, um, interstitial cystitis. I mean, you name it, I was going through. And then I too realized that I had to change my diet. I had to release some weight. I released about 60 pounds. And then I could get off of the 13 pills I was taking.
Beautiful.
So what you're saying just really, really speaks to me, because I too have kind of lived that. And so I feel, what it is to have your body start to talk to you and be like, okay, you're going down. And if you don't hurry up and do something, you're not going to be here.
Well
you're
done.
not going to be here.
Because a lot of people don't listen, and they also think that that's what the way you're supposed to feel as we age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, we're going to have aches and pains, and we can't erase the last 60 plus years. We still have evidence of wear and tear.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't have to feel that bad.
Right.
And, as you said, there are seasons. And so one of the things that I got caught up in is, now I have to be perfect. I do functional medicine. I have to be perfect. I had to get over that too.
Oh my gosh.
Because life is lifing. My genes are still the same genes, but I'm so much happier and healthier than I was a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna be kicking butt and for many, many years.
Absolutely.
And if I just listen to myself and take care of myself, as you will too.
Yeah. Thank you. So you made that pivot, all right? So you realized that, things were getting a little rough. And I think that the year that you had, losing so many people, was really a defining point for you. And you made the change. Tell me how that was, and tell me what you transitioned to.
Well, I did the year of Jeanette. And so I did some PT, I did some mentoring, I reconnected with friends and family, and I worked with a functional nutritionist thinking that I could fix this cholesterol thing. Okay. And honestly, those first things all got better. But working with a functional nutritionist, I actually got worse. My cholesterol got worse. And she shamed me. She's like, Jeanette, you're a doctor, you should know this. And she said, just eat when you're hungry. I'm like, dude, I'm always hungry. 60 to 90 minutes after I eat, I'm starved.
Yes.
And she said, just be intuitive. And, well, that didn't work for me. And I realized this is so frustrating. Like, if I'm a doctor with all this biochemical knowledge, why is it not helping? And so I studied like 400 hours of functional medicine, and I tried to hack my biology to understand it. And of course, an endocrinologist told me in med school that most women who say they're hypoglycemic are hypochondriacs. So do you think I ever told anyone? Meanwhile, my mother was severely hypoglycemic.
Oh, wow.
So guess what? I'm very hypoglycemic.
Yes.
And that's why I was starving 60 to 90 minutes later. So I had to learn to listen objectively and subjectively. And now I can go like 4 to 5 hours between most meals if I properly nourish myself. Because before I was eating lots of organic stuff and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. It was the wrong organic stuff. Like, just being organic isn't enough, so I had to learn to listen to my body, which is, unfortunately, a princess in the pea with glucose. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But the upside is, it helps me understand how to get out of that pit of despair and feeling like such a loser.
Yes.
So it took longer than I thought, but then I said, oh man, if it was this hard for me, how are other people going to figure it out who are still working, maybe raising children, and don't have the luxury of 400 hours of study? So I unretired 18 months later.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did, because what you have is so much of what we need. Because we, as women, we'll start to normalize, well, I just feel that way. Like you said, we'll put it with age. I'm aging and it's going to be this way. And we're really kind of suffering in silence. And we're thinking, something's wrong with us, but that's just the way it's supposed to be. When in reality, like you said, it could just be understanding, okay, this is what's causing this to happen with me. And it's not that anything is wrong, and I just need to suck it up.
It's a message from your body.
Yeah.
Your body's talking to you.
Yeah.
Listen to it. I like to say, if your body could text you, what would it say? Well, it's been doing it all along.
Yes.
Every time you ignored it when you needed to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I
Every time you had a
know.
headache because you stayed up 3 times after your body said, I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, blasting those screens. And believe me, I like a screen. It is hard to stop. But I put on these super sexy blue blocker glasses at night. And everything looks yellow. All the people look like they have liver disease, but I can watch a little bit of TV before I go to bed.
Yes, I love that. I have to get those. You know, that's what I need to do. I need to get the glasses. And you're right. It's worth the sacrifice of having people look a little different, you know?
And then maybe I watch a little
Right.
less. Like I'm going to bed earlier.
Yeah, and that's important.
But when you push past, like when I'm in a creative phase and I can't stop quilting and I realize, oh my God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I've pushed past my body's desire to go to bed by hours and hours and hours, and I'm exhausted, I'm tired but wired, and now I can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm picturing
You're
all the
wide
things I
awake.
want to sew and all the
Yes.
things I got to do
Yes.
tomorrow, and I'm looking at the
Yes.
clock. So I had to no more quilting after 8 p.m.
Oh, I know.
Get out of the studio, go upstairs,
Good for
stop
you.
it.
Good for you. And I'm learning. For me, that's jewelry.
Oh,
I love jewelry making. And, you know,
Nice.
it's mindless. And my mom and I, years ago, we started our little jewelry business. And I mean, this is proof too. I don't even do it as much as I used to because, of the time. But when I do it, I can so easily get lost
yeah.
because the creative juices get to flowing and I see what I can do and I know that I'm creating this and I don't want to stop. So I totally get it. And you're
Yeah.
right. You have to shut it down.
You have to set
Because I
boundaries.
could stay up all night.
Yeah, some stress is great.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be in a completely stress-free world. That's actually not good
Yeah.
for creativity and problem solving. But when you pull a bunch of all-nighters, you're going to pay the price. And
You're-
it's much harder at 63 than it was.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and then I want you to tell me some more about your program and what it is you do. What are some, and you could probably kind of segue into it with this, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see women make when they try to improve their health?
These days, I'll tell you about one of my patients anonymously, of course.
Okay.
She said, I'm doing what all the influencers say to do, and I feel worse. I've tried everything, and I feel worse. And I said, those influencers found what worked for them. And it worked great for them. Look at them. They're happy, they're healthy. But is that what works for you? So there's a lot of messaging out there that maybe we're interpreting the wrong way or we're being told generalizations that really don't apply. There's certain basic tenets of health, but a lot of these very specific things, if somebody tells you that one thing's going to fix your whole life, it's probably not true, right? Right.
Absolutely
We're
not.
multifaceted people. There are hundreds and hundreds of chemical reactions that are going on all at the same time, and they vary based on your genes, your history, all sorts of things. And so learning to listen to yourself, it takes time. And she also said, I went for a walk with my friend about a month into the program, and I told her, I'm so mad at Dr. Linder about this listening. I don't want to listen. And then a couple months later, she said, oh my God, my guts feel so much better, and I really don't want to listen, but it's working.
Right,
and then at
right.
the end, she said, okay, you're right, the listening worked, fine. I didn't want to do it, but I did, and it took time. And she's like, thank you isn't enough. And I'm like, well, you listen to yourself. You did it. It was just a matter of having somebody help guide in the right direction and help interpret and also provide tools. Like I provide objective and subjective tools and then help give feedback, because when we're stuck in all these symptoms and brain fog and things like that, it helps so much to have somebody help guide you through that, just like I needed that. And who has 400 hours of study, right?
Right.
So I help drop it down to way less. And so you asked about the programs.
Yes.
It takes time to change your life. If somebody says you can change it in a week at a spa, you can learn one or two things, but you can't really change your life. Like I do preferably 12 months with people because you need to go through the different seasons and the holidays and all that stuff. And because the cycle of change, you're super excited, you're in the honeymoon, you're getting it all done, and then you're exhausted and you fall off the wagon. And it's like this. And it requires trying again and again and again. And so I have clarity and precision. It's not that one's better or worse than the other. It meets where you are at the time. Sometimes you may be in clarity where you want basic information and you don't want to be overwhelmed. And then other times you need precision where you want lots of objective data and you want lots of feedback. And sometimes we can do that. I go through different phases where I want lots of objective data and labs and things like that. And other times where I want to keep it simple and I want to back away from all of that scientific stuff and just listen to myself.
Right.
And then continuing is you decide, am I kind of coasting on a maintenance plan here? But your life is always changing. It's going to keep changing, right?
Yes.
The world is changing. As we age, things change. And so you have to be open to seeing what you need right now, which could be different 6 months from now.
6 months from now. And I love that because you're in this for the long haul, 12 months. And I love that you said because you got to get through the holidays. And so you're going to start on something and you go on a shorter program. And it's true. You don't know what to do when you hit those special occasions and the holidays. So I love that you have an extended plan for people to show them how to get through every piece of what they're going to face.
A funny story is I had this woman who started out by saying, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on functional medicine docs and I'm still exhausted and anxious and my blood pressure's so high and I had to pass up a promotion because I couldn't count on being well enough to be present and to get the work done. And we got to the holidays, and she spent a lot of time during the holidays talking about how she ate things she preferred not to. Middle of January, she forgot to tell me she got a promotion, and she just finished all of her annual reviews, which is like the most stressful part of being in a leadership position.
Yes.
And I'm like, how did it go? She said, oh, it went great. You forgot to be stressed out. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was 6 months into the program. So it was so cool. And this other woman was obsessed with her weight. I said, can we just talk about what's going well in your life and let's focus on these other things? And then at the end, I said, we haven't talked about your weight in like 4 months. She said, oh yeah, I lost 14 pounds.
By the way,
she stopped obsessing and she started listening and the stress went down. It was very cool. So, people listening to their bodies can heal in ways that they may not realize.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that. I love that. So you pivoted into something that was really a solution for a pain point that you had. And that is such a significant, it's just perfect for the journey, the pivot in sharing, how important it is to listen to your body and to realize it's okay to do something different. For starters, you had spent all these years preparing for what you were doing and then making the pivot where it's best for you. And it turned out to just continue to be the kind of work that you love doing. You're just helping another group of people, or perhaps even the same group, with another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, so I went back to radiation oncology on a temporary basis. I'm like the vacation gal, and I love it. That's my crisis intervention. And then I do this functional medicine, which feels more like escorting people to wellness. And I don't know, it feels like a nice balance. I'm lucky enough to be at this point in my career that I can do what I want, which is so fun.
I love it. Thank you so much again.
Thank you
for being here.
Lots of fun.
One last question, and then I'm going to close this out here. And it's, let me ask you this. Finish this sentence for me. The moment I finally listened to my body, I... finish the sentence.
I realized I didn't have to be perfect, and I could just keep trying.
Yeah. Thank you for that. You don't have to be perfect, and keep trying.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're finished today, and I want you to be sure to look at the podcast notes, because that's where we'll have all the information on how you can get in touch with Dr. Jeanette. You can find out about her programs. You can go see her so that you can be the best person that you possibly can and be in the best health. And make sure that you go out, as I always tell you, and be authentically you, because you are the very best version of you that there is, right? Nobody else can be you. Your thumbprint's unique. Go out and touch something and make it better for you. Make it better for those around you. Seek that life that you live and thriving, and not one in mediocrity. Find purpose in what you do. We live in a world that is so chaotic. Always make sure that you're doing what you can to be the best you, to live the best life that you can. And until I see you again, make sure that you do everything possible to be well. Take care.
Summer is one of the hottest seasons of the year, and if your business already behind, Tap-In Maganer Speakers launches your note as a tap-in. This is your season to be seen, your season to elevate. Click the link below and get featured in our upcoming summer issue.
Are you looking for the perfect way to get your message heard? Here's your chance to advertise right here on Leveling Up the Podcast with Alethia Tucker. We offer custom advertising packages designed to put your business in front of an engaged audience that's ready to connect with you. Imagine your business, your service, or your event being shared with listeners who are motivated, purpose-driven, and eager to support what matters most. That's the power of podcast advertising. Don't wait. Scan the QR code on this advertisement or follow the link provided below. We can't wait to connect with you and get your message.
The Loft.
If there was one thing that you could tell somebody right now about the pivot, about listening to their bodies, about making sure that they do what is necessary to, number one, live in purpose, and number two, to be healthy, what is it that you would tell them?
So it's about listening to your body, which then empowers you to respond rather than react and freak out. Mm-hmm. And then you can adapt into the future. But it all needs to be wrapped in forgiveness, because there's so much shame in the medical world, in society, that we're not getting it right. There's so much shame. And it's not your fault that you like the things you do. We're actually genetically programmed to like the sweets and the salts and all those things. Mm-hmm. It's just that, fast food didn't exist 300 years ago. Yeah. Our bodies weren't made for all of that. Yeah. So we have to learn to overcome the things that are so easy in modern life. Elevators, water comes out of a faucet. You can just buy something and it's ready when it used to take 6 hours to make or 5 days to mill. Yes. Forgive yourself, learn a little bit at a time, and keep trying.
I love that. Keep trying. I think we frequently want to give up, but keep trying. Yeah. Pivot. Yeah. Absolutely. So let us know, how is it that we can stay in touch with you? How can we find you? What's your website? How we can, come to you for one of your programs?
Thank you so much. Yes. So I'm on Instagram, Dr. Jeanette Linder. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, Dr. Jeanette Linder Wellness. And my website is Dr. Jeanette Linder, and it's Jeanette with one N. And, there's so many different ways to start listening to your body, and I would love to help you learn how to do that.
Awesome. And I think I'll be calling you as well. I'm on my way. I just have to make sure that I stay on the right road.
I would love that. And there's another thing that you don't know about. Oh. So I work with this wonderful career strategist, Michelle Lance, who's amazing. And she realized that her clients all had like wellness challenges. And of course, I told you about my patient who was giving up promotions and things like that because of her health. And so we work together as well to help women lead with vitality. And so it's called Lance Linder. So we also have, our Facebook and our Instagram and our website, lancelinder.com. She's amazing. And, we help women figure out how to have that harmony instead of doing one or the other.
Yeah. I'm glad you told me about
She's
that.
She's fantastic.
We can definitely talk
You'll
some
love her.
synergy here. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, we've reached the end of the episode. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen. As you catch the elevator down, if you feel so inclined, rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, every day is a new opportunity, and it's never too late to level up.